Hey there, Kevin Morrison here, coming at you with a cooperative learning strategy tonight. And I'm going to tell you about one you might have heard of before called Find Someone Who. If you've worked in my district, we've done this a lot in our trainings with teachers. So we're pretty familiar with it. But if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to give you a few things about it tonight. It's a great way to get the kids up and moving together, learning from each other, and cooperating together. So let's get us started. Preparation. What you're going to need here as students are going to be exchanging information is something for them to be prompted by, some information to go on. This can be usually in the form of worksheets, which can come in many forms. So you can have some kind of chart that is showing the kids information here that they're looking for, either facts about another person or content knowledge that you're working with. So charts, lists, graphic organizers, of course, are always good. Comes in many forms. It really just depends on what your style is, maybe the grade level of kids you're working with, whatever you think is going to suit your kids. So once you get that worksheet ready and are able to give that out to the kids, we're going to get out of our seats. Okay, you want to get these kids moving around. This right here is one of the greatest get out of your seats movies of all time. Just my opinion, and my opinion is right. Let's talk about what we're doing. We want to get the students up. They're going to pair up and exchange information. That's our goal, right? Getting information moving around the room from one head to another. Every student needs information, and every student has information to give. So this sets us up nicely for cooperative learning. It's the supply and demand theory right there. This also gives kids value because they're valued for the information they have as other students need it. And it gives kids confidence as they're able to share together. Students will continue to find new partners and move around the room as they need to find new answers for the questions or the prompts that they have on the worksheets that you have created. You can do this a couple of ways. You can designate a time. You can say, okay, 5 minutes, go. Let's see how many you can get. Or you can say, let's go till you've finished the paper or gotten all the information. And really, that's a judgment call based on your class, your schedule, what you're working with that day. Of course, there's variations. It can be SEL based. So this is get to know you kind of stuff. Finding common interests or facts. This is a great beginning of the school year thing to do. Or just if kids are fidgety and they need to get out of the seat, you can have one of these standing by. If it's the beginning of the year, hand out the class roster. Make them find everybody. Of course, don't give out personal information or the copy with the highlighted kid that you know is going to give you trouble. Or it can be content-based variation. So find someone who knows the answer. You might give kids a list of questions, and they have to run around. Hey, do you know the answer to this? Did you know the answer to this? It can be quite fun as a little scavenger hunt trying to find the answers. It can be find someone who matches. You can do this a little differently. You can pre-assign everyone they can actually be a question or they can be an answer. They have to run around the room until they find their pair, their match. Want to make sure I'm getting that clearly across. So each person is not finding a whole page full of answers. I could be the question, 2 plus 2. Someone out there is an answer of 4. And you can hand out cards if that's how you want to do it. Everyone finds their partner, sits down, kind of like a competition, shuffle them up, hand them out again. You do several rounds of that. That could be fun. History-based. I am a history teacher. I thought of this as I was looking at the strategy, and I'm going to try this next year. Find someone who is. Okay, we've added a little word onto the find someone who. But I thought it would be fun to do things like similar to what I said before, passing out cards. Everybody could be assigned basically an answer, which could be a person, could be a place, could be an event. And so everyone will have a sheet with questions that say things like, find someone who was a great tank commander in World War II. Patton, in case you're not a history guy. Find someone who had a funny mustache. Hitler. I'd probably use different facts, but I'm trying to get you to follow along here. Find a country who was an ally of the United States. You could have an entire list of history-related things, and people have to find that answer, which is actually a person in the room somewhere that could have that for them. So that could be a fun thing for history. I'm going to give it a try, and I'll let you know how it goes. Then, of course, we have adaptations. We have variations, adaptations. This gives us a lot of combinations and possibilities. I don't do math, so I'm not going to give you the total, but there's a lot of things you can do with this. So let's talk about our ELs. Okay, they can be helped by pictures. As you hand out a list, if you have a lot of ELs, you can hand out a list that maybe has pictures that need to be identified. So someone needs to be able to identify what this picture is on here, who it is, where it is, some kind of picture and word relationship. So you could do that. Anchor charts. Whatever unit you're in, whatever theme you're talking about, there could be some solid anchor charts around the room to reference. And you can remind them of that ahead of time if that's going to be helpful. And of course, with conversation. English language learners are going to be getting conversation with a lot of these students around the room. And these students who are better with the language are going to be encouraging them in the conversation because they want the information too. So this conversation is going to be helpful for your English language learners. And that's not really an adaptation, that's just a fact. Lower level learners can be helped in a couple ways. Instead of doing a timed session, which can give them some anxiety, it can be an untimed session. So that would, instead of saying you have 5 minutes, go, that can be something like, okay, let's get all these and we'll go till we get them. And you can also assign groups for an activity. So maybe you have to work with a partner. You have to go around the room together, finding answers on your one sheet, or larger groups or something of that sort. So they're not walking around on their own, and they have somebody who can give them a boost when they need it, as far as conversation and information. And then there's always modeling, which is, I wouldn't call that an adaptation either. That should be done all the time. But modeling is great. I'm not talking about my dashing good looks. I am talking about showing them how to do it. Sorry, I don't do humor well after midnight. So here we go. So as a teacher, you're modeling. You can handpick someone, a student, or an aide if you have one in the classroom. You can go through the exercise with them. So your lower level learners and your ELs too are watching you do this activity. They kind of get a foothold on where to go from there. Benefits. We have a lot. Okay, so students are engaged in the following. They're actively listening. Huge. They're asking for help and asking questions. Skills they need to have to learn, and they're contributing, which is going to boost their confidence. They're encouraging each other. These are great social skills, whether you're doing content or SEL. And they're entering and departing interactions. So these are social skills that are important, especially in a social learning environment. They're learning how to do that efficiently and politely, hopefully. Kids are expressing opinions. This is important. They need to be able to know how to do that and do it confidently. They're reasoning. They're talking stuff out with each other. And they're sharing and praising. They're encouraging each other, congratulating each other when they get it all right. A lot of good stuff going on here. And your EL students are benefiting. They're acquiring content knowledge at the same time as academic language, which is great in many respects, and conversation skills. So whatever your content is, this social interaction is boosting up their conversation skills as they learn the language. Your lower performing students, they find safety in one-on-one interactions potentially, instead of maybe they have anxiety about speaking in front of the class or larger groups. There's a little bit of anonymity when there are 20 conversations going on in the classroom and they can just focus on one person and know only one person is focusing on them. So that lowers their effective filter a bit. And they're hearing multiple opinions. They're hearing multiple angles. So that's reinforcing stuff that they're learning through the activity. And they're gaining confidence socially and academically. Lots of benefits here. So that's our cooperative learning strategy for this evening. Find someone who. So, my challenge to you is to find someone who has not heard of Find Someone Who, and you can turn that light bulb on for them. So, that's it for me tonight. If you have any questions, hit me up and we can talk about it. I love to hear your variations, your adaptations. I think this is a very useful tool in many ways, many content areas, many levels. It's all over the place. So thanks for your time. See you soon.